warm welcome to our week of Rugby League, very proudly brought to you by the Winfield Company. A lot for you in store, including last Wednesday night's National Panasonic Cup clash between Canberra and Cronulla. We'll be showing you all the action out of the Saturday match of the day between Balmain and Eastern Suburbs. Likewise, the Sunday State Bank big game at Parramatta Stadium between the Eels and the Bulldogs. And of course, all the action out of every other game in another weekend of Winfield Cup football. But first of all, our week started last Wednesday night when we went to the country for the first time. The National Panasonic Cup clash between Canberra and Cronulla.
Meninga from about 19 metres out, almost in front, strikes it hard and true. It got away a bit to the left, but it's right out of the ground over the fence. So first blood to Cronulla in this first quarter. They lead by 2 points to 0. In and out Cronulla side. Wilson having trouble with the picking up of the ball. Graeme Hughes, he was a hooker in this Cronulla side in some of the earlier matches.
And quite a tall man for a halfback, but I noticed as that last kick was put over the sideline by Meninga, in fact, they are pretty new balls that they're playing with.
Out to Sorensen, swings it wide, out to Speechley. A nice cut-out pass has gone to Diamond. Diamond gets his pass away out there to Glenn Coleman. Coleman is picked up in good cover defence, about 2 metres out. Sorensen trying to bulldoze. They pick him off nicely. He's only about 2 metres short. McGaw, the little kick through being put in nicely by Dan Staines. It's too strong over the dead ball line. Tap restart from the corner. That's not a bad kick with little angle. Backo. There's a good tackle coming from Wicks right around the thighs. Dropped him like a tack. Regan over the top came Nixon. Another good tackle. Cronulla tackling very well at the moment. Run around move there, worked by Walters. O'Sullivan at dummy half. Out to Henjack. Dummies. Goes back on the inside. The defence equal to that. They're just inside the quarter. O'Sullivan. Jackson. Beautiful pass to Belcher. Belcher's got it away out there nicely to Matthew Corkery, and he's in a touch only about a metre short of the line. Beautiful pass there from Belcher. Worth a look again, I think, on the replay. The ball came into his hands and beautifully away under pressure. Corkery was just overwhelmed by the cover coming across. Gavin Miller was one of them. Referee Armand wants them to move it infield. They were inside the 10 yards. Cronulla's ball. Wilson a little scurry round the open side of the ruck. Speechley. Docking. McGaw spins out of a tackle. He's got pace, this fellow. Looking for Eddinghausen, who was trying to link with him. Moving it out now. Staines trips or slips. Sent a run out of traction there. Docking, playing at a headgear, the fullback. He's about 8 metres from the halfway line. They've come to Sorensen. Out to Wilson. He's overwhelmed by Jackson. Toughs it out for a few more metres. Sorensen. Play to Speechley. Kick straight down the middle of the field. Belcher gets to it on the first bounce. He's got Fay coming with him. Picked off beautifully with a nice tackle right round the boots there by Craig Diamond. Graeme Hughes, there's a little bit of rugby league gossip here that you may have heard. You may be able to confirm. I have some information that John Dorahy, presently playing in England, has been signed by North Sydney.
It's an interesting rumour doing the rounds this afternoon in the world of Sydney Rugby League, and North Sydney back on the rails with a good victory last weekend. The one problem that Frank Stanton's searching for is a goal kicker of, well, some clout, and if they have signed John Dorahy, they've got a very fine exponent in that. And not a rough footballer either. If his form is anywhere near what it used to be, he'd be a great addition to any side, I would think. So that's an interesting bit of news. We can't confirm it. We'll put that down to a little bird told me. Okay, McGaw. Coyne there. Tough tackling. Backo there too. Out to Sorensen, the veteran warrior who's scored a simple try in a match recently. Just ran through a channel. Opened up like the Red Sea, and through he went. Enjoyed every minute of it. Craig Diamond has had some good runs too. Gets to his feet again and goes forward. About 12 metres out from the quarter line. Player down injured at the moment is Jackson, the Canberra centre. There's a high bomb being put down there. Belcher stands his ground well, takes it, and there's been a bit of shepherding
Little bit of shepherding, worth a look at the replay there. The referee indicating a player was held to stop him getting at the player. Alan Wilson struck that well. That's no judge of how good a goal kicker he is. I've never seen him kick before, but that was certainly an easy position. Just over the halfway line. Cronulla defence in just a little bit of disarray there momentarily as Coyne has given a pass by Meninga. 2-2 the score here. Penalty goals responsible for each. Meninga, the kicker for Canberra, is the switcher player now from Henjak to Sutherland on the blind. Meninga throws the dummy very nearly through the opening. Wicks getting through a power of tackling for this Cronulla side. O'Sullivan taking them on through the ruck. Last tackle coming up. It's away to Henjak. Little chip over the top. If it's a bounce, it's the Belcher. It was a magnificent bounce and it's a try. So Graeme Hughes, your prediction came off a little bit later perhaps than we'd either of us thought. He waited up to the last tackle to do it, but the little chip came off with that magnificent bounce.
Well, it had to come. Both defences were spot on early in these first 2 quarters. Nobody at home. The fullback forced to try and cover it. The bounce certainly favoured Canberra, and that's the sort of tactics. Great positioning by Gary Belcher in reading the play there, but that's the sort of tactics that Cronulla have now got to turn around with just the same. Yes,
well, there it was. A beautifully weighted little kick coming through by Henjak. Belcher, who's very, very quick and got good hands and good acceleration, just beating the tackle there of Glenn Coleman to score directly underneath the post. So that was a critical try. Well, there it is, another successful kick by Mal Meninga, and the score now a very good one for a Canberra point of view, 8-2. Big Mal. I have visions, and you will remember the occasion, Graeme Hughes, of the Ladbroke Dragonara Hotel, when after a particular test match that the Australians had won very, very well, Big Mal wrestled 2 of the little men, Terry Lamb and Alexander, and exhausted them both in a playful wrestle. He was playful like a grizzly bear. Beautiful pass back at the inside to Mal Meninga from Jackson. Has he got the pace to go with it? Docking's coming at him. Docking pulls him down. The pass inside to Corkery was probably forward. I won't be able to judge from the position I'm in, but certainly the try has been spilt. But it was a great-looking move. It started well with a lovely inside pass, and there's the end of it. Big Mal Meninga going away strongly. Docking did well. The pass to me appeared to go forward. So that then, at 8 points to 2 in Canberra's favour, is the end of the second quarter. Yes, what's the news on Staines, Graham?
Well, the information on Staines is the new rule of the New South Wales Rugby League about him being called off by the Cronulla doctor and just taking the sit out while his replacement is on. And he, in actual fact, has moved back to the sideline and is wanting to take his place back in the side.
All right, so that's a new rule in operation, a head injury or some type of a concussed situation. He's got the Cronulla club doctor there with him. He can have a rest for 10 minutes, the replacement goes on, and then the player can go back on the field, the replacement comes off. A scrum just inside the Canberra quarter. Belcher figuring there as a sort of 5'8" in the blind side. There's O'Sullivan again going for a little scurry. If he persists, he'll get right through this defence at some stage, in my view, if he goes at the big fellas, the fellas that have been working hard and a little bit slow-footed. O'Sullivan. There's Belcher beautifully right up the middle of the ruck. Has he got support? He has. It's a pass out to Jackson. Jackson got it away to Corkery. Corkery up the sideline. He needs to stay infield. He's done that. It's a good long run. Faye's got his hand up on the right-hand side, calling for the ball. Jackson away to Meninga. Meninga pops the pass to Belcher. Those three frequently figure in interpassing. There's a field goal attempt. It is astray to the right. And I'm aware that Bennett and Ferner, the Canberra coaches, were probably instigated that attempted field goal by Canberra not so long ago to put them 1 point beyond. There's Russell right through the gap. He's on the surge. He's got a pass back on the inside to Docking. He might have enough pace. He will score, I believe. The referee has ruled on that. That would be called a sliding try. He was tackled in the field of play and his momentum carried him over. We're going to look again at the National Panasonic Cup replay. And we're going to see this little fella, Russell, really go for a sprint right through the defence there. A great shot of him coming towards us, the selective pass back on the inside. Watch the tackle, which is pulled off at this point and brings him down, but there's no double movement. It was momentum that carried him over. Graeme Hughes.
Great piece of play from Barry Russell. He's the replacement for Wilson. You were criticising Wilson for his lack of pace before. It's the one thing that Canberra have to watch Barry Russell for. He's well known for his sprint out of the halfback position, and great reading by Docking. Hint of a shepherd maybe in the last attempted run around there from Russell with the forwards, but this man Docking, who reads, plays so perfectly in the full-back position on the spot, and that's what makes those sort of breaks all the worthwhile.
Absolutely right in everything you've said, and no suggestion of a double movement on that occasion. So Jonathan Docking well rewarded for what I think has been a fine game tonight by the little fullback. Now Staines, who was from the field earlier with a head injury, has recovered. 8-6 the score. Canberra lead. Important goal. He's about 5 metres short of the quarter. He's about 25 metres off centre. He struck it. Both up. And the referee agrees it's a goal. So there it is. The score all locked up at 8-all. Okay, we've got Cronulla in possession at the moment. They're coming up towards the halfway line. Brad Perry powering his way through and gets his pass there nicely on to Barry Russell, who's already made one hell of a difference to this game. On to Miller. He lops the pass out to Diamond. Diamond's on the surge. He's gone through one tackle. Got a pass back in perfectly to Meninga. It's gone straight to Belcher. Belcher's upfield. That was almost as if it was a planned move. The Canberra forward defence just started to drop off a little bit in the last quarter. Coyne and Bacco, and the two props who had done fairly well early, very nearly not sighted off nobbies. Here's Staines getting a beautiful pass away to McGaw, the kick back infield, and again Belcher positioned perfectly, takes it almost as a reflex slip catch, that one. Effective defence coming in there. Moving it out now to Sullivan, to Belcher, Meninga, Jackson. Jackson loses the ball. Oh, and very close to being picked up by Russell on the run. But one of his own teammates fell on it. That was Diamond. Brad Perry with a surging run. He's injected just a little bit more power in the forwards. Cronulla moving the ball faster. Staines. Tackled. Sullivan getting through a lot of work. Least got a pass away there. Speechley was the man that was on the end of it. Miller looking, searching there to get a pass to somebody coming through on the burst. There's a high kick which is going to bounce, fortunately, or not so fortunately. Belcher's got it, the ball's lying loose, Faye's fallen on it. It's a try. It's a try from a terrible blunder there by Faye and Belcher. The try was scored by Docking, I believe. And you're going to see it and you're going to weep if you're a Canberra fan. The kick had nothing on it. There was no pressure. The ball bounced awkwardly. Belcher came in for it. There it bounced nastily away. Kicked through by Russell. Faye missed it. Didn't actually ground it. And there was Docking coming through again. Let's have a look and see this exactly the way it happened. Belcher touched it with his hand. The ball's lying free. Faye looks behind him, tries to get his hands to it. It's still on the move. And Docking, apparently to the referee's satisfaction, has got the ball down. And there it is. So it's a whole new ball game now. Canberra led 8-2. They got to 8-all. And now the scoreline reads Cronulla 14, Canberra 8. Now just showing signs of a little bit of tiredness, taking a bit of time to get back on side. Speechley with a weaving run. He's had a strong, not Speechley, that's Coleman, but Speechley has had a big part in the Cronulla side tonight. His defence was excellent at a stage of the game when some of his teammates, more illustrious teammates, were falling off. Oh, the pass there was a magnificent one by Miller. This could be a try to Russell. He's on the sprint. It's a great one, and they've really cleaned it up now. A pass back there towards the halfway line was just so spot on. It was hit hard. They ran straight onto it. The Panasonic Cup replay will indicate just the perfect bit of rugby league when somebody runs and pops a ball, and there it is. We're watching it now as Miller gets the pass away nicely to Nixon, and Nixon's on the stride on the outside. Look at Russell, gathered him in at 2-1. 2 yards to 1 there as he came hard on the sprint and goes over just to the right-hand upright. Graeme Hughes.
Gavin Miller's been threatening to do this all night. He's been running across field looking for supports. They haven't been there too often. This time Greg Nixon was the man on the spot. A bit of poor defence from the outside, and Barry Russell, a very dangerous man, plenty of pace. No one was going to catch him.
Bit of a shuffle and moves in. He struck that okay. 20 points to 8. Canberra really blown it in the last quarter.
And a very solid victory to Cronulla over Canberra in that National Panasonic Cup. On to Saturday, the match of the day. Leichhardt Oval was the venue. The Balmain Tigers up against Eastern Suburbs. Both teams undefeated, but after last Saturday's match, only one would stay on the top of the competition table.
Equal leaders in the competition, and today on their home ground, the boys that don't cry, the Balmain Tigers.
And here they come, and there's Laurie Nichols charging into them and giving them that last little bit of inspiration as the Tigers come charging out onto the field. Gary Jack at fullback, the same back line who played against Cronulla last Saturday afternoon. Let's see how the combination of Neil and Gale can perform in the half this week. But there's where Balmain have been so successful this year, that mighty back row, coached by Billy Anderson. They're certainly going to give the Roosters plenty of hurry up this afternoon.
Now welcome the other contender in this battle for the lead of the 1987 Winfield Cup, the Eastern Suburbs Roosters.
Well, for the first time on television this year, let's look at this side who we've read so much about but haven't had the chance to see yet. I'll be certainly interested to see how Hall goes at 5'8", the former Canberra junior, and those two magnificent wingers, Chalice and Morris, who have speed to burn. The Eastern Suburbs forwards, a lot will rest on that back row. Tobin, Gilmeister and McGahn, and their particular endurance battle with the Balmain back row. The referee this afternoon is Graham Annesley, and we're going to see Balmain kick off. They're defending the southern end of the ground, and Eastern Suburbs are going to defend this very pretty end, the northern end, which overlooks onto the back of the river and the canal. It really is a beautiful setting here at Leichhardt Oval as Conlon gets the game started, and McGahn, the captain, gathers the ball in. It's gone from Portlock, and across there picking up the ball now is Gary from the former New Zealand centre, and he's tackled down towards that quarter line. East with the ball at the moment, and they're going to immediately try and put it down inside Balmain's territory, and that ball right behind Davidson. And touch has been found a few metres inside Balmain's territory and 10 metres in from the Latcham-Robinson grandstand touchline. Balmain's ball, Gale. Oh, he thought about throwing that ball out wide towards Hanrahan. Just as well he didn't. Gary Prome was just about to pounce and look for the intercept. And good tackle. Gee. And he's lost the ball, Gary Jack, as he was thumped into the ground by that very solid tackle from the man they now call the Axe, Trevor Gilmeister, and that really was a big tackle. Have a look at this again.
My word, watch Gilmeister get in there, using the strength of his legs. Got the shouldering first and decided to do a little bit of a job on his breastbone with his head.
So Eastern Suburbs with the ball, switching it back, and that's Gilmeister, the man we're talking about, after the little halfback spinner had switched it back to that blind side. Back towards the halfway. Eastern Suburbs with the ball. Oh, a hurried play. Finds Melrose. He's going to slot that ball in behind Davidson. Is not going to get that far. It's about 18 metres out from Balmain's line. Now it's with Jack. He's going to try and beat Morris. He stood in Morris's tackle, and Hall came up very quickly to try and prevent that pass going away from Davidson. That's Davidson again. So I bet you he's got a few words to say to Michael Neal after getting that one.
My word, that was very negative, David. Play safety first in your own quarter. Run rounds there, not on.
Clark. And he's coughed the ball up, and so Eastern Suburbs get the ball again, and that's Spina. Now it's out wide from Patterson. From Hall, it's gone on out towards Melrose. Good ball and all tackle from Davidson in off the wing. Hanrahan lending assistance, but East on the attack. They're 22 metres away. Little Steve Morris from dummy half, and he's got within 11 metres of the line. Kyle and Hanrahan up again that time. It's Melrose at dummy half. Hastings, on it goes to Patterson, and Patterson hammered. Gee, that was big, hot, solid hitting from Brooks. Hemsley over the top. It's still the Roosters on the attack. McGahn, the skipper, back on the inside is Portlock. Portlock only 11 metres away. Gilmeister, that's Spina. And Spina throws the dummy. Back on the inside, he throws the pass. That's Portlock who's gathered it in. He's only 7 metres away. Eastern Suburbs, last tackle What are they going to do? Hastings swings it out to Melrose, the little grubber into the end goal. Jack will get back there and allow that to cross the dead ball line. A little bit too strong, the kick. Play will restart from the centre of the quarter line, but the touch judge is coming on.
Well, this was a disappointing finish to some very enterprising football by the Roosters. And Melrose, well, I've seen him do better than that.
Interesting, I'm just not sure what to do. And Hanrahan's also been called in as well.
Well, this is where it's hard for the touch judges and the referees, David, because everyone's hyped up early in the game and it's hard to follow it. And why not, with so many people coming into the tackle?
And they're really forcing some errors so far, Eastern Suburbs. Balmain have made a few uncustomary mistakes early on. They've made 3 errors. They've dropped that ball twice, and even then they went very close to dropping it again. Elias in a dummy half. That's Neil. And there's Sutherland down the centre. Round his legs was Hastings. And he's lost the ball. East have come up with it again. So that's another bad mistake from Balmain. They're giving Eastern Suburbs every chance early on.
Well, I don't know whether they're giving it, David. You've got to give a lot of credit to this Eastern Suburbs tackling. They're really getting involved.
Tasman down the centre. Good tackling from Hemsley. But they're only 14 or 15 metres away. The Roosters, that's going from dummy half. Hall still going. And he's got within about 6 metres of the line. Hastings moves into dummy half. It's been really all East in the opening 15 minutes as the ball comes across from Hastings to McGahn. McGahn, can he get there? He's close, he's there! Try! Easter in front, 4-0!
And boy, don't they deserve it, David. They've been keeping this ball alive, mixing it with some very heavy defence. But the forwards running onto the ball are no better than their skipper, McGahn. Plenty of power. The ball came out wide, a little run round with Melrose. Hastings, beautiful ball, went through the gap. Now he throws a dummy here, and really, Neil took that dummy, and he had enough power. Now you'll see the ball come out here. That's the run round. Horry Hastings sets it through. He gets through the gap. Now it's just a little dummy. Neil goes, oops, and that's enough. He gets over. Good try.
10 metres he's into Eastern Suburbs territory. They keep it going the same way through Clark. 30 metres out from the Eastern Suburbs line. Michael Neal, the run round from Elias back to Gale. We thought about throwing a quick pass. He almost got into the gap. That's Conlon. They've got a chance here. Balmain, the kick for the line. Morris and Hanrahan. Morris will get there first. He's gone without it. It stacks on the mill. Jack's got it. Now it's with Davidson. Davidson trying to get there. He's very close. I don't think he's got there yet. He's half a metre out. Into dummy half. Trying to force his way over his Hanrahan. Eastern Suburbs under siege. Elias, it's with Conlon. Now from Gale, back on the inside came Pearce. He's gone without it, it's loose. Balmain have got it again, but it's going to be a knock-on and the scrum will go down 18 metres out from Eastern Suburbs line.
Well, I cannot believe how Conlon put his foot to the ball. He had hand run outside, and there's a relieved Artie Beetson, I can tell you. That was a chance that Balmain blew because Conlon put the foot to the ball when the ball should have spun out wide with a perfect pass.
He should have come back inside and made more room as well. Well, it should see Balmain's handling errors at this stage. They've dropped the ball 8 times, 8 handling errors so far. And that's one of the reasons why Eastern Suburbs are leading, and this will be a penalty against Eastern Suburbs for collapsing the scrum. They'd won that. They had no reason to collapse that scrum. So Balmain get another chance now.
Well, there you can see, well, it's a mess. I spent enough time in there myself to realise what was happening. Well, I ask you, out there sat in your lounge rooms, could you get the ball in?
So, Balmain with another chance, and Gale's almost slipped them completely. That was pretty close to being passed off the ground. There's Neil away to Conlon. Conlon won't get his pass away. They're 18 metres out now, Balmain. They swing it back this side. Hanrahan's going to be chopped down. He's still about 14 or 15 metres away from that Eastern Suburbs line as Elias goes one way, then the other. Down the centre comes Pearce, and Pearce almost made it all the way. Good last-ditch defence from Portlock. Balmain will come this side as they find Sutherland, and Sutherland's held up only 2 metres out from the Eastern Suburbs line. Can he hold out into a dummy half again as Elias? Back the open side, it's Gale. On it goes to Hanrahan. His pass finds Pearce, and Pearce is in. They have to score eventually. It's 4-all.
Oh boy, David, we're in for a great game. No two ways about that. Both sides are going to swing this ball about. Keep it allowed wide. Beautiful ball. Elias out to Gale. To the centre, Hanrahan, who did magnificently well. But that's the difference between a chance and a good chance having a man backing up the man with a ball. Ball out wide, Gale, hand round the centre. Now watch him scoop it round, good thinking. But it's Johnny on the spot, a skipper's play there, getting himself into the position. That was try time.
Well, junior, as they call Wayne Pearce, in his 9th season of football here at Balmain. What a remarkable comeback after that terrible knee injury that he suffered last year, and of course that cost him the Kangaroo Tour. But he's been in scintillating form recently. Radar Poot will add the extras simply, and he does. And it's 6 points to 4 in favour of Balmain over Eastern Suburbs. Balmain running it out from their own quarter line again. And Tasman over the top that time. Elias from dummy half, he's gone without it, so Tasman's got it for Eastern Suburbs. So another handling error by Balmain. I bet you Billy Anderson points them out at half-time. Now that's McGahn, and the big Kiwi still going. The man who scored their first try has got within about 14 metres of the Balmain line. Now they bring it back the open side, and that's Gilmeister. Gilmeister's got that pass away. It's gone from Spina to Hall. Here comes Melrose down the centre. He comes back on the inside, back to Hastings. On it goes towards Spina, and Spina's within about 2 metres of the line. They're going back the other side. Hastings, the pass has gone to Gilmeister. He tried to slip it away. It's gone loose, and Balmain have got it. Gary Jack's come up with possession a few metres out from his own line. And now it's going to be a penalty for being up inside the 5. Well, bad marking, in fact. Incorrect marker.
A little bit enthusiastic there, Davey, but what a game we got on his hands here. I'm sure that the New South Wales Rugby League will be very, very pleased with this one, as is the fans at home, and of course the fans here, Leichhardt Oval.
Hastings down injured at the moment, and that would be very bad news for Eastern Suburbs. He was again the man that started that movement. I think that's Hastings down, or is it? That is Horry Hastings. On it goes from Melrose. Melrose pass, it goes back to Hall on the run round. Well read though by the Balmain defence. It's good football from Hanrahan. Melrose again. Now the pass has gone away to Gilmeister. Back it goes now to Prome. Prome straight down the centre. He's looking for support. He's got no one there at the moment. He slipped the pass back on the inside. Hastings to Spina. Spina's long pass out wide. Surely that's forward. The referee agrees. But what good football. It was on the last tackle. They had to force the pass in the end. They had no alternative. But perhaps the grubber kick for the corner could have been more effective, but still good football from them from a position where they looked as if they had no opportunity at all.
Certainly was. They kept the ball alive. They looked a little bit nonplussed here. Prome didn't realise that he had the open gap there. He certainly put on some speed, put the ball inside. Now Hastings appears here, flips the ball out wide. Now Spina, well, he'll spend a little bit of time next week training, no doubt, with his coach. That really was a bad effort in the end.
So I'd love to see what would have happened with the grubber kick with Chalice's speed, because there was nobody at home for Balmain. Now Scotty Gale has the ball for the Tigers, and he's got back to within 12 metres of the halfway. Blindside, they come through Brooks. Brooks pops that pass up for Clark. Gee, that was close to being forward too. And Clark's tackled a few metres inside Balmain's territory. Davidson, now Elias gets it, puts the kick in over towards the grandstand touchline. It'll find touch just outside the quarter line.
Well, I'm sure that Bill Anderson, the Balmain coach, will be quite happy with the way the Tigers have settled into the game now, because they really did have a big onslaught. Now we see Benny Elias coming away from the dummy half, giving himself plenty of time and right into the open space. And he's caught them a couple of times, Elias. The wing is not dropping back. And remember, David, that if there's one big complaint about Morris's game, he often forgets to drop back on the defensive.
But he is so quick off that he can get back there and fix it up. Now Eastern Suburbs with the ball, and a little half break made there by Hall. Chopped down though in copybook lock forward play by Wayne Pearce, and that's Tobin, Pearce's opposite number.
Well, Hall's shown that he's got a fair amount of ball skills out there, David. And I think they've got to start bringing these wingmen to come off him.
And here's Morris, and Morris is up over the halfway. He's got Gardner chasing. Chalice has come back on the inside, and Gardner's caught Morris from behind and bundled him across the touchline. Only 16 metres out from the Balmain line.
Well, this really was a case of the, shall we say, elderly wingmen of Rugby League. And Morris can really get into it. And look at Gardner. He'd get great pleasure from that.
Warren Boland down on the sidelines. What do you think of these scrums so far?
Well, the scrums have been a bit loose, and there goes another one. But notice McMillan at halfback with Scotty Gale out wide. And we'll just go back to you, David.
And here's Balmain after they've won that one against the head. It's Davidson up over the halfway line. Morris has got him. Portlock over the top. They'll want to play this quickly. The East players are taking forever to get back on side. Half of them are offside. As Pearce is there for Balmain. He's chopped down 10 metres eastern suburb side of the halfway line. Neil, blindside. Threw that away along the ground. Davidson's had to go back and just dive on that. Maybe the heat's getting to a few of these players. And that was only the second tackle. Elias. Now there's that long pass out wide. Hastings will just about get to that before Conlon. If Hastings had been a fleet of foot centre, he would have picked that up for Eastern Suburbs. That was a poor pass. Hemsley. Now it goes back to Pearce down the centre. Comes Conlon. Conlon slips the pass away. And Gartner's tackled only 24 metres away from the Eastern Suburbs line. Pearce, he's slowly to his feet. He's up now as it comes back this side now.
Great play. It was absolutely tremendous play by Balmain. And the Roosters have completely shot to pieces in the defensive effort. And I'm not surprised that this Roosters side looking very, very tired indeed. And that all came about by the fact that the Balmain side were quick to play the ball and catching them on the hop. Well, they're trying to get the ball out wide. A little bit of a technical fault here. David looks as though he's gone for a bit of a holiday, but Eastern Suburbs, as I said, they were very, very tired out there. They're keeping the ball, and they'll settle things down here because I think they'll try to look towards going into the half-time break, just leading by those 2 points, 6 points to 4. Now, here's Portlock, who needs plenty of time and a great kick. Well, that's the sort of thing that they need, and he looks towards the bench to Portlock saying, there's no point in using the forwards. Good positional play, taking a lot of pressure off his side. And this time, Gartner being the one that's caught out of position. Well, there's the scrum down now, and still a few problems with David, but Neil placing the ball in. Scrum half Annesley, the referee Annesley there, not happy with that. And I'm not surprised. Well, Warren, we're having a lot of problems with these scrums. I know that you being an ex-winger, I can tell you it's not easy in there, but what do you think? What do you see out there? Is it too hot for them?
I don't know about that. Ex-wingers shouldn't really comment on scrums, I don't think. What I was going to mention was some of the hesitancy in the passing amongst the Balmain experienced players like Elias and Pearce are making mistakes, but then again, they're taking chances, and Balmain can still really rattle on with the attack when they get going.
Yeah, I've been very surprised with the way that they've tried to keep the ball alive. This is Balmain within their own quarter.
That's right, that's where they're taking chances.
Now here's McGahn, the skipper, trying to get the ball out wide, Spina. And there's the centre, Prome. Not really coming under the ball with much vim. There's Spina, a run from the inside. And Balmain are looking a little bit ragged now. They're on the rack. And a good run by the wingman. Oh, it's nearly there. Good play by Morris. Good run from the dummy half position. And he's kicked. And it was desperation. Good play by the wing. They had the ball, really had the line out wide. And I'm not surprised that Hugh McGahn is looking at Morris in disbelief. He's only inches away. And really, they can thank Gavin Hanbrand for being Johnny on the spot.
So the play to...
Now, here's Portlock taking the ball through. There's quite, the wind has dropped. It was quite strong before the game. Now here's a run from the New Zealander Gary Prome. Eastern Suburbs obviously working to try to pull in the defence and then get the ball out wide. Spina on to Melrose, and it's a beautiful pass out to Gilmeister, and Gilmeister's in. That was beautiful football by the Roosters. Good forward play, good constructive football. And it was only really a matter of time. And there he is, the man that they call the Axe. This is how they get the ball out wide. Beautiful pass to Spina. Now Melrose holds it up. And the Axe certainly swung it into action and swayed his way through. Chip off the old block for the try. Tremendous football. And they fully deserve it. They bounced back. They were looking ragged. What's this beautiful ball from Melrose? And here he goes, bouncy, bouncy, and just hands off at the right minute, uses his weight. Great try. Well, here's Melrose moving in for the conversion. And then, well, there it is, 2 more points, as we still have problems. Gremlins on the line. Now there's the kick, not the best in the world. Gary Jack taking the ball up wide. Now then, taking his time there. And I'm not surprised Eastern Suburbs were all offside all the way across the line until it came to Steve Morris.
And I can tell you that the distance shouldn't be too much trouble for Ross Conlon. He's right in front of the field, and knowing the way this man can kick, this is just about, I wouldn't say it's a gift, but it's certainly one that he would kick 8 times out of 10. He was in great form at practice Thursday night. There's the kick. He's kept it low, though. He's got it underneath the crossbar. He would have scored at Hampton Park or at Wembley, but alas, he didn't score here at Leichhardt Oval. And so the Balmain fans remain just 4 points behind. Eastern Suburbs on top, 10 points to 6. And now Portlock's down injured. One got the feeling, Warren Boland, that perhaps he just tried to steer that across the crossbar and try and nullify the effect of the breeze.
Just didn't hit it right in the middle, unfortunately, but Ross can easily get that distance into the wind or not.
And there's the Portlock going down there. You see, there it is. He just hurt his knee. See the way that the tackle was affected, and at the moment that he put the pressure on that knee, he got hit from the other side, and that just caused that slight problem. So at half-time, as the siren goes in the background, we're going to see Eastern Suburbs go in leading against Balmain by 10 points to 6. It was 2 tries scored by Eastern Suburbs in the first half, and 2 good tries too.
A couple of injury worries in the Balmain dressing room. Of course, Scott Gale with that arm pull. Soonan also has a problem. I think it could be the wrist. But the message from the dressing room really in East's was control the ball, eliminate the mistakes, and improve the scrummaging. We talked about that in the first half. For Balmain, similar message. Control the ball, eliminate the mistakes, and wrap up the ball carrier. Another thing to note, the wind has dropped away now.
That's certainly something to note. And, of course, Balmain would have been running with the wind had it stayed up in the second half, but at the moment that wind has died, and in fact the flags on top of the uprights are quite limp, especially at the southern end of the ground. So Balmain with the ball, and there's Hanrahan. Hanrahan's busted them apart. He's got no support. He tries the chip, runs into Portlock. I'd say that's what the referee will rule, or is he? I think that's what he has to rule. Oh, gee, let's have a look at that one again. I'd like to have a look at that one again myself.
Well, I think it's a 50-50. A great break by this young centre. Now, he'd no one in support. He'd left with nothing to do. Now, I think he's right, the referee. Portlock just turned his back. Now, I suppose it's a 50-50 area, this one.
But he's entitled to turn his back. Now, let's turn it up. He's not allowed to stand there and say, I'll cop one in the mouth. I know one Balmain supporter who'll be cock-a-hoop at the moment, Mark de Montfort. He's really had a great week. Gee, he comes good around Easter time every year. As Conlon comes in, there's the kick at goal from the Balmain centre, and he's added the 2 points. And so Balmain are the first ones to register points in the second half. Balmain are now up to 8 points. Eastern Suburbs still in front, though, 10 points to 8. And what I was referring to about young Mark de Montfort, he's a great Balmain supporter. Mayo Card winning the Rawson Stakes this afternoon. He won the Black Opal last Sunday. And it's amazing that Balmain and Mark de Montfort always seem to go well this time of the year. So good luck to him. He's a top little bloke, and I know that all the Balmain fellows have probably copped the tip, and they've probably got a bonus, and that'll probably be a bigger bonus should they get up on the football as well.
Well, they've still got a lot of work to do, David. They trail by 2 points, 10 points to 8. The Roosters in front. But I think that, as Warren mentioned at the half-time break, both coaches made a lot out of this fact. Let's keep possession. And I think Balmain, what they've got to do is stop passing within their own 22-metre line, and as I speak, they just do that.
So Hanrahan plays the ball, and it comes out towards Gale, and Gale's going to kick for this, the touchline over on the grandstand side of the field, and Chalice has been completely mesmerised by that bouncing ball, and in the end the ball has crossed the touchline, just 37 metres out from each line.
Well, just watch this. This is a tremendous kick. There's nothing that Challis could have done unless it was about 10'8". And really, the ball over his head. And that really is not the best thing for a wingman to receive early in the second half.
Almost a hypnotic spell cast over him by the ball that time. There wasn't anything he could do, but he had to make sure that he didn't touch it at any stage, otherwise Balmain would have got the feed into this scrum.
Well, there's a lot of problems with these scrums, David. They don't seem to be, well, they're twisting rather than spinning.
And now Neil's got it away, it goes to Gale, and Gale up to the quarter line. Portlock's got him, the pass goes to Conlon. Conlon's got Davidson in support, and good cover defence across there, chops him down. Only about 6 metres out. Jack, it's gone from Neil, back it goes to Gale, and Gale gets his pass away to Pearce. He almost dropped that, but the Balmain Locks has got within 8 metres of the eastern suburbs line. Balmain on the attack, it goes back the other way to Brooks. They've got plenty of room out, many of move out here. Going hard for the line, Jack, and he's stopped in his tracks. What a tackle that was from Patterson. Oh, you won't see many better hits than that. That saved a certain try. Now Brooks tries to crash his way over.
That nearly broke Gary Jack's neck. That really, and there was nothing wrong with it.
Elias, the kick into the end goal area, getting back there and taking the ball is Challis and forcing the ball to come back to the centre of the quarter line, and it'll be a tap kick from eastern suburbs.
Oh, just watch this tackle.
No.
Well, there's the kick, but previous to that, we'll come back to the tackle later.
And now we're going to see eastern suburbs making big inroads into the Balmain defence as they run the ball through Prome, and eventually it's Hastings who's got it up over the halfway line. This game's going from end to end. Gale. Neil is still forcing that past Balmain as Pearce is going to be held up on the halfway line.
Well, both sides have to respect.
Hastings is down hurt. He looks as if he's got an accidental bump in the head. I don't think he's unconscious. Wayne Pearce is over there. Pearce is rolling Hastings over to make sure that he's okay. As I talked before about Wayne Pearce, the man, that's typical of the sportsmanship that man shows all the time.
Well, let's hope he's okay. He's really went down then.
Pearce, the pass has been intercepted by Prome. That Patterson, now it's gone across towards the eastern suburbs backs. Hall, the pass has gone away to Melrose. Melrose up over the halfway. Melrose down to the quarter line. He can't get the pass away back on the inside to Morris, but eastern suburbs are on the attack now. Morris, back it goes to Hall and McGahn. McGahn will give it to Portlock, and Portlock's got within 11 metres of the Balmain line. Eastern suburbs charging back at the Tigers. Again, they're going from dummy half as Morris. Morris has got his pass to Portlock. Portlock will send it away. It's out to Tasman, and Tasman's 11 metres away. Portlock back to Spina. Spina on his own. Spina will go close. Spina's in! Try! Great football from eastern suburbs. 14 points to 8 to score.
How long can they keep this up, David? Both sides, but full credit to the Roosters. Once again, they keep the ball alive. And you can hand it to that man there with the ball. He's the man where it all started. Tony Melrose made the position for this passage of play. Portlock, who's been involved in everything today, swings the ball out wide. There we see Tasman. Tasman uses his strength. Portlock again, switch to Spina. Spina throws the dummy, switches inside, leaves it to Hemsley. And that really wasn't good thinking by Brooks. Watch the ball inside. This is beautiful play. Portlock switches, goes out across. There's Tasman using the strength. Look how he holds him, attracts 4 to them. Portlock switches again. Now watch the dummy. Oops. Sorry, Mr. Brooks. A good handoff and a great try.
Well, now we're about to see Tony Melrose at the extras. There's the kick. It's 2 more points, and Tony Melrose has sent the Roosters away, and they now lead by 16 points to 8. So Balmain have to score twice, and Laurie Spina. There'll be a lot of supporters up in Innisfail, of course, watching the performance of Laurie Spina. Also had a stint with North Sydney for a while. As Patterson takes it up. Now there's one of the major reasons why Balmain are behind on the scoreboard. They're just missing too many tackles and dropping too many balls. As Hall gets under an attempted high tackle, Spina out wide again, off the left foot, back it goes to Hastings, and it goes to Prome. They should score. Prome's in! No, double movement, says the referee. see it. The referee said no. Crow made the movement.
Well, I think he made the bad decision here. He should have gone for the wingman, or the wingman should have come inside. He's definitely grounded.
Good decision from Graham Annesley.
Certainly is. Caught a loose boot to boot.
Ball goes in. Oh, it's going to come back out east way or not? No. Scrum screwed around and Gale gets it. Balmain with the ball, and they've got all the work to do in front of them. There's 20 minutes left in the match, and it's Eastern Suburbs leading 16-8 as Gary Jack comes in. He's taken down only about 35 metres out from his own line. The wide ball finds Conlon, and that's good defence again. Tobin over the top. Underneath was Patterson. Elias sends it the open side. Neal to Clark, and Clark down the centre.
Well, Balmain look as though they're going to do a substitution. Looks like Bruce Sinclair ready to come on.
Well, we might go down to Warren shortly and check that out. That kick going to go very close to the touch line, but Portlock has it. He's up over the quarter line. This is good run from Portlock. They all went up in a higgledy-piggledy bunch sort of thing, the Balmain group. They didn't go up in one line. It allowed Portlock plenty of room to run that ball back a long way. East with the ball. That's Hastings. What a great game he's had. And here's another one who's had a big game. Melrose making big inroads into the Balmain defence again. And he's only 30 metres out. It's McGann at dummy half. They'll have 6 to go as that ball touched a Balmain player. The referee says so. And so Eastern Suburbs are only 25 metres out from the Balmain line again. Tessman does the little pirouette. Thought about throwing the ball to Spina, who'd come a little bit too far onto his right-hand side. He takes the tackle just outside the Balmain quarter line. That's Hastings. Back on the inside comes Gilmeister. He's out of one. Can he get the pass to Tobin? Yes. And Tobin's held up, only 18 metres away. McGann, blindside, finds Hastings. The ball goes to Portlock. Back to Hastings, back to Melrose. On a wide pass, finds Spina, who throws that dummy again. Can't get the pass away to McGann, who was in a gaping big hole. Gee, if he'd put the big fellow in that gap, it would have been curtains for Balmain. Blindside, Portlock, the shot at field goal. That one's there. One more point for the Roosters. Eastern Suburbs in front by 17 points to 8. The field goal kicked by fullback Wayne Portlock.
All so simple, David. Good tactics, and really they are getting control of this game.
Let's go down to the sideline. Warren.
Number 23, Bruce Sinclair, is on for Balmain, replacing Paul Clark.
And I just saw another one of the major reasons why Eastern Suburbs are in front. Balmain have missed 35 tackles as against East 10. And here come the Tigers coming back though, and this is one man that can change the game so quickly. Scott Gale from dummy half. Neal out wide to Pearce. Pearce, strength, determination. Look at the lock forward go. He's only 9 metres away from the Eastern Suburbs line. Is this going to be the Tigers' revival? It's with Neal. The ball finishes up with Brooks, and he's 10 metres out from the Eastern Suburbs line. Dummy half this time is Elias. On his own, coming down the centre is Sirinen. Sirinen can't get through. Good tackling round the bootlaces from Hastings. Into dummy half, Elias sends it back this side. It goes to Neal, to Conlon. Quick ball to Jack. Jack throws the dummy. Jack goes on his own, but Melrose wraps him up, ball and all. Just out from the Eastern Suburbs line. Now away it comes this time towards Conlon. The loose pass finds Pearce. He kicks it straight across the face of the east goal line. Morris, can he get away from Davidson if he had? It could have been a try. There was nobody at home for Balmain, and he had support to burn. Eastern Suburbs running it out of trouble. Hall! Look at that. Got through 3 and 4 feeble attempts at defence there.
Good play by the 5'8". He's had a big game, a game he'll remember for a long time.
Tessman runs the play, 35 metres out from the Eastern Suburbs line. Hastings at dummy half. Now it's Gilmeister, hit by Brooks. He can't get his pass away.
And there you see how eager the Eastern Suburbs three-quarter line is. We saw Portlock coming in as a support player, and that's been the key, David. As a Balmain player down is out cold.
And now Melrose decides to just bang that ball deep into the in-goal area, run it across the dead ball line, and the play will restart with the quarter line drop out. Now there's a player in the back play.
Looks like Brooks. He was out cold, David.
David Brooks, who's down. Certainly he's been knocked out. So Eastern Suburbs now with a chance after that penalty, and they've got the ball and they're down on the Balmain quarter line, so they're going to stretch this lead. The penalties at the moment going Balmain's way, 10-6, and there's a good tackle, as Brooks has certainly been revived quickly enough. Did you see that tackle? He sent Patterson back a couple of metres as going from dummy half as McGahn. McGahn, he spun out of one, and the big Kiwi is going to go very close to scoring. He's got within about 4 metres of the line. Patterson keeps it going. It's with Spina. Spina throws the dummy on his own. It goes to Melrose, but the referee's going to call it back for a forward pass.
Well, it was certainly worth the try, and this Spina has been here, there and everywhere. He often gets criticised for keeping the ball far too long. They won't say that today. He scored a vital try. He tried to get the ball away, obviously forward. Good positioning by the referee.
Johnny Owen coming to the sideline as well. Marchetto. He's got that pass away to Sirenen. Sirenen's got the arms free. And Balmain again has continued to use the ball on the halfway line as Hanrahan plays it. Elias from dummy half. The pass goes to Marchetto. Now it's gone to Neil. And Neil can't get his pass away. Good defence. McGahn that time. Plays it forward, the little halfback. That's Marchetto. And he can't keep the movement going. Hastings, well, he looks as if he's exhausted too as Morris gets that ball, but Hastings, he's had a great game, and Morris has managed to get clear. He's up over the halfway. He's down towards the quarter line. Jack giving chase, and Jack's got him. What a tackle. What a run from the little winger. Eastern Suburbs continue it going. That's Hall. It's away to Portlock. Portlock away to Spina, and Spina's chopped down. Only 11 metres away from the Balmain line. It's Hardy into dummy half. They'll continue the same way. No, they go the blind. It's Portlock, and Portlock's tackled only 6 metres out from the Balmain line. Eastern Suburbs right on the boil again, and they go from dummy half through Hardy. He's got the pass back to Melrose. Melrose will score. Melrose is in. That's the ball game. The Roosters are undefeated at the top of the Winfield Cup. It's 21 points to 8.
And they've certainly dispelled all those doubters, believe you me. There's big Artie. Will he smile? Come on, Artie, give us one. No, he's too involved in the game, and let's not take anything away from him because he certainly had a lot. It was great football, good backup, and this is what it's all about, having players there. The defence is shot to ribbons. Melrose realises it. And this has been the story of the day, running from dummy half and still getting the ball away. Here we see the gap appearing, and it was a case of you take it, you fill in, and an easy try.
Eastern Suburbs leading Balmain 21 points to 8 after Balmain took the reserve grade 30 points to 9, and after Eastern Suburbs won the under-23s 22 points to 19, scoring 16 points in the last 6 minutes. And what are they going to do here as they run the ball back through Melrose? He didn't get put to the deck, and that's Gilmeister who's got the ball down to the Balmain quarter line. They're still keeping the movement going, the Roosters. The ball's gone loose and French can't handle it, and so another scrum will go down. Only about 20 metres out from the Balmain line.
Wonder how many times, David, that you could have counted in this particular game that the Roosters have kept the ball alive when at least 2 Balmain players have been hanging on to him. And that's been the story of the day, as well as the errors, the fact that the Roosters have kept the ball alive. There it is.
So there's the score. Eastern Suburbs defeating Balmain by 21 points to 8. And Eastern Suburbs well and truly just too strong for the Tigers this afternoon, and so they remain the only undefeated side in the Winfield Cup competition. Balmain suffering their first loss of the 1987 competition. The details of this afternoon's performance for Balmain, they're 8 points. Pearce 1 try and Conlon 2 goals, but for the victors, Eastern Suburbs, the spoils, McGahn, Gilmeister, Spina and Melrose tries. Melrose 2 goals and 2 attempted goals which hit the uprights, and Portlock a field goal.
Last season was a good one. The game's on the up and up. This year it'll be even better. The battle for the Winfield Cup. True, we've lost some giants. They were a credit to the game. But we've also found some young'uns. They promise to be the same. That's what the big game's all about. It happens every year. We lose a few of our heroes, but find others who know no fear. We see them give it all they know. We see them give it their best shot. 'Cause whether unknown or famous, you gotta give it all you got.
is here to collect the greatest prize of all.
On to the State Bank big game on Sunday at Parramatta Stadium, where the Eels were certainly out to try and get back onto the rails and try and recapture some of their 1986 form. Good news for Parramatta, Bob Lindner was back and playing his first game in the Parramatta colours. And Canterbury, well, the game was certainly going to be evened up. They'll go into the game without Steve Mortimer. Last Sunday, State Bank big game, the Eels and the Bulldogs.
The State Bank Big Game presents the Winfield Cup.
And welcome to this Winfield Cup clash from Parramatta Stadium between the 1986 grand finalists Parramatta and Canterbury Bankstown. It was the 28th of September last year at the Sydney Cricket Ground where the Eels regained the crown they had held in 81, 82 and 83. The final scoreline read Parramatta 4, Canterbury 2. And as this season unfolds, with 3 losses in the Winfield Cup, Parramatta are struggling to find their form of last year. With his return from the Castleford club in England, will kangaroo tourist Bob Lindner, who makes his debut with the Eels today, be the saviour they've been looking for? The full team today is Atkins, Chalmers, Laurie, Casato, Delroy, a welcome return to Brett Kenny, Sterling, Linda, Muggleton, Wynne, Leabeater, Mosley and Bugden. The Bulldogs of Canterbury, the other dominant club of the 80s with grand final victories in 80, 84 and 85, have only had 1 loss this season, going down narrowly to Balmain by 11 points to 8. Canterbury's team for this important match: Potter, Campbell, Chris Mortimer, Hagan, Farrar, Langmack at 5'8", Lamb at half, Folkes at lock, Dunn, Gillespie in the second row, Kelly, Bugden and Tunks. Mick Stone is the referee for our State Bank big game. And a magnificent day here at Parramatta for this, what is a critical match for the Parramatta club. They've got to come out of this slump they're in. Whether this is going to be the day is probably they'll take some heart from these figures of 86. The first round, Canterbury 21, Parramatta 12, Parramatta 7, Canterbury 6 in the second. The major semi-final, Parramatta 28, Canterbury 6. The grand final, Parramatta 4, Canterbury 2. So they won 3 from 4 last year. I think the popular pick at the moment in Sydney is for Canterbury to win this game. Graeme Hughes.
Definitely, Canterbury's forwards will be out to try and make sure that this issue was put beyond a doubt by half-time. The weather might come into it and slow their pack down, but then it's not going to be any help for the likes of Terry Leabeater or Jeff Bugden as well. Look for a big game for Paul Langmack in the 5'8 position.
OK, so the Canterbury club have come up with what is considered a bombshell by putting Langmack back to 5'8", but he did perform very admirably in that position. There was the thought that Hagan had come in to replace Steve Mortimer at half. That hasn't been the case. So they've got all their forward strength there today, but one of them, of course, playing in the 5'8 role. Sterling gets the kick away downfield. It's absolutely magnificent. The ground is in superb order and condition. The breeze will be favouring the Canterbury side in the first half. And it's a very, very good crowd. I'm no expert here, but I'd estimate it's somewhere around about 17 or 18,000. Canterbury just 10 metres outside their quarter. There's Gillespie playing in number 24. He's in the second row with Dunn. Mr. Stone, the referee. Back it goes to Farrar. Farrar gets a kick off the side of his foot. It's gone right out to the wing. There's a juggled ball, but it's taken nicely there at the second attempt by Chalmers. He makes a gain of about 8 metres. Mark Laurie moving from the forwards into the backs. Very much a utility player these days. Mosley, Sterling and Casato, who came to grief a little bit last week against Manly. Was found a little bit wanting for pace once or twice, which is not what was considered one of his shortcomings. Mosley sprints into dummy half there. Win up the blind side. Last tackle coming up for Parramatta. Sterling, one man off the ruck, gets the kick downfield. It could be a good one. It's going to go towards the sideline. It's a beauty. It's about a 30-metre gain. It had a very sharp off-break at the end of it. That one would have bowled Graeme Hughes.
Well, off-spin has always had me in trouble, Rex. I was a left-hander.
There's plenty of tension in this game, Graeme Hughes.
It certainly is building up, and just look for the forwards. Something could explode here in the next 5 or 10 minutes, but already danger signs for Canterbury. Peter Sterling and Brett Kenny always love to pick Canterbury up out wide with cut-out passes. Sterling produced a half break there with a superb pass. Look for him and Kenny to lay that on all the time.
Well, that was more of a Canterbury type tackle on Kelly there. They came in twos. There's Tunks getting a ball away again. An awful pass out there to Dunn, and he's driven backwards, no knock on. They take him back about 5 yards. The Parramatta fans are incensed. They say the referee's blind. They say he should have ruled a knock on. Farah trying to release the ball. He does get it away now. It's gone to Gillespie. He runs across field. It's a good run. Gets a pass away over the top. Taken out there by Michael Hagan. And they're sprinting into the tackle. Kenny was up there very quickly. There's a ricochet. The ball's gone anywhere. Parramatta got it. It's only, well, now the ball has changed hands again. A Parramatta player went up for it. It was number 4 there, Tony Casato, but he lost it as he came down, and Canterbury came up with it again. Well, the pressure on with a vengeance. Now, that time, it's a penalty for failure to get away from the tackle player. A frenetic start to the game. Absolutely frenetic. And there's a fair bit of chatter going on that Canterbury side at the moment. A few of them are waving their arms around and directing criticism by the look of it at other teammates. Just keep your eye on that, Mark. Graham, would you do that for me? Because I like to see it when a side start to argue. You know, they've got problems.
Well, I don't know so much if they're arguing. They certainly need a bit of a rev up at the moment. They missed a captain in the likes of Steve Mortimer. There's enough good players and enough rugby league experience out there to lift them through what's going to be a very heavy start to the game, as Parramatta certainly are applying the pressure.
They certainly are. They're coming in with some very strong defence. It's good head-on tackling. Back at halfway comes Kelly. Kelly runs into a swarm of Hornets there. They came in hard. The two bookends slammed him between them. Bugden gets it away to Lamb. Lamb says, let's get the hell out of here and drive it downfield. It's going to go close to hitting the post. It does, on the ricochet. Picked up by Chalmers. Chalmers tries to go round his man. He's done very well. He got round Farah, but he had to run about an extra 3 or 4 yards to do it, and the cover picked him up. There's Casato. He's gone the dummy half. Let's have a look at those lower grade games. Good results both for Parramatta. They won the under-23s 18-6. And that Parramatta reserve grade side, well, didn't they play football? 42 points to 4. Everybody scored tries. What an afternoon for them. The kick downfield by Sterling is a ripper. Over the sideline, a gain of about 55 metres. A beautiful kick. And Canterbury being made to run around, and these are ideal tactics against a big pack. I have no hang-ups about who wins or loses this game, but probably for the good of the Rugby League competition, we want to keep these two great clubs as reasonably close together as we can. There's a penalty. Feet across. That went against Bugden, the hooker. Now Sterling, who's been Mr. Spot On in his kicking. And an interesting statistic come up from my statistician, Warwick Roberts here, who tells me that Linder is the leading Parramatta tackler with 6. So he's getting very involved. We've had 8 minutes of play. Mosley's a dummy half. Lee Beater's about 8 metres out. He gets to his feet. Sterling spins it along. Oi! Wynn runs into some trouble. He's only about 12 metres out from the posts. Mosley pings it to Sterling. Sterling quick hands it to Muggleton. Muggleton swivels, goes back on the inside. That was a Ray Price ploy that frequently came off. Mosley again from dummy half. About 2 metres. They're keeping the pressure on. There's Muggleton from dummy half, and he's gone within a foot. They were sleeping there on the blind side of the Canterbury ruck. Sterling got a pass away. It's been knocked down. It'll be a knock on. It'll be a scrum. Well, it was a near thing. Sterling just failing to get a pass away there to his fullback Atkins coming on the open side. Pass knocked down by Dunn. Now it's a Sterling feed once again. It's a clean heel to Parramatta. Sterling, the big step. He's picked up there by Dunn. Run around move. Atkins. Linda got a pass away. The ball's gone to ground. Not touched in flight. There's no 6 to go. Mosley again pumping it up the blind side. Win like a racehorse. Oh, heavy stuff from Kelly came in and the ball was jolted out of his hand. But it's picked up by Chalmers. And Win is down. That was a fairly high-looking tackle to me, but it wasn't head-on. Win had his back to him. We'll see that again on a replay in a moment. Sterling, the pressure, and that was a magnificent catch there from the little kick. Now we've got a touch judge in. Here's the hit. Let's see how it comes. Yes, it was over the shoulders. It was around the neck. The fact that his face was turned the other way is incidental as far as I'm concerned. It was a high tackle. And Win, heavens knows, has had enough trouble in his life with head injuries. Here again. Kelly, the man who came in high with a swinging arm, I thought, too. Graeme Hughes.
I've got no doubts in my mind. I think everybody have just seen the replay. I think if the touch judge's report is right, the man is off, and he is.
Well, I'm not going to disagree with that. Kelly would have to be a gibbering idiot not to know there's a big deal on with the referees and the Rugby League against violent play. Now, Win has come from the field. He will be under the rule of having 10 minutes to recover and can be replaced. Now, Parramatta now with 6 to go still are only about a metre out from a short-handed Canterbury side. Ford comes on. Am I correct in that, Graeme Hughes?
Peter Ford is out there in 21.
Okay, so Canterbury without a man for now all but 11 minutes of this game. The whole complexion of the game now changes. Moving it away there. There's a little grubber kick. It's been stopped with a foot. And there was a clever bit of play there, but there was offside play as well. It was touched on the foot by a Canterbury player and fallen on by another Canterbury player in an offside position. There it is. The referee is quite right in that ruling. Mickstone, spot on. 5 metres inside the quarter, 20 metres in from sideline, strikes it hard, hits the upright, rebounds into the field of play. Oh, and a head, Harry Dewar still might be a total flag, I don't know. Hit the corner flag in the dive. Oh, gee whiz, it's all happening here, let me tell you. Watch this, it ricochets and goes right out to the right-hand side. There were players there, Muggleton was there, then Ford thought his moment of glory had come. He's only been on the field for about 30 seconds, and the ball just eluded his grasp. Tucks. Still no score. Lamb cuts out a pass, gets it away to Potter. Potter goes upfield. He's about 5 metres outside the quarter. He worked his way back to dummy half there. Lamb, a man for all seasons. Well, I've got to take my hat off to this Parramatta pack. It was a pussycat pack last week against Manly. They were made of jello. This week, at least for the opening 14 minutes, they've been like an iron wall. There's Chalmers again getting around Farah. He's done him for pace. It's a beautiful run. Gets to halfway and Terry Lamb's there to cream him around the legs with a spot-on dive tackle. Linda, cut-out pass, throws it to Sterling. Ford chimes in. Still their own side of halfway. Kenny pops a pass to Atkins, the fullback chiming in. There's Kenny and Langmack having a slight altercation there. And Mosley now drives the ball downfield. This might turn into a great kick too. No, it hasn't got the off break at the end of it. It's finished up about a yard from the sideline. Potter can't evade the defence. There's plenty of it. It's swarming. Graeme Hughes.
Thanks, Rex. Steve Mortimer's joined us. Steve, everybody was tipping Canterbury at the start of the game, but things have certainly turned around. 12 men.
It makes it very hard with 12 men, Graham, but I'm confident our boys will come on, on top. Parramatta are very determined, but time will tell, of course.
What sort of tactics does it force you into now, just the 12?
I don't know, mate. I guess we're going to play a lot safer, and with critical ball, we're just going to control the ball as much as we can and play it down their field with 12 men.
What about Steve Mortimer himself? A groin strain, I believe, it was just 1 week?
I was 80 to 90% fit, Graham, and I'm not going to take the field at that sort of stage. So I'll be definitely right next week.
Okay.
Thanks.
The ricochet kick there, and Sterling was able to fall on it for Parramatta, so they've retained possession, and this could bleed the Canterbury side to death, that sort of error. And I've got to say, right across the board, a penalty, of course, being awarded to Parramatta there. Right across the board, I'm shocked weekly by the number of times that big-name players have kicks charged down. Muggleton, 8 metres outside the quarter, strikes it. It's a good-looking goal. Struck it well. So Parramatta draw first blood. Muggleton's goal makes it 2 points to 0 in favour of the Parramatta Eels. Tunks, beautiful pass there to Langmack. Got a pass to no one. It's been kicked through by Chalmers. If it doesn't go over the sideline, it could be interesting. He's stopped and gone down for it. I would have, well, perhaps advised him to kick it back in field, but he's slowed himself down, and now Parramatta on the rampage. They've got men over out on the right here. Laurie's got it, he's weaving, and I think he should have looked on the right. He had a 4-man overlap as far as I'm aware. I think he should not have died with that ball, Sterling. And there's a penalty going to be. Well, why not play the advantage rule? Why in the name of God wouldn't referee Stone play the advantage rule there? They had 3 men over as far as I'm aware. And he's now giving a penalty to Parramatta. You can give the penalty after. Astonishing performance. And Tux is arguing with the referee not about the same thing. But, I just can't believe that. Why stop an attack when you've got the option of giving a penalty later on anyway? Well, Muggleton from the he's about 16 metres out from the goal line, I guess, and he's probably about 20 metres off centre. 18 to 20 metres off centre. That breeze, do you reckon it's affecting his kicking here, Graham?
No, as much as there's a lot of breeze around today, this stadium with the stands either side, on the level of the field, there certainly doesn't seem to be a lot to be affecting him. If anything, it's only towards the end of this stadium, but he's had no trouble with that long-range shot.
No, well, here he comes now off a 3-pace run, strikes it hard, and it's another one to Parramatta. They surge away, another 2 points, so Parramatta 4, Canterbury 0. 14 minutes to go to half-time. Farrow drives that down to the quarter. Atkins lets it bounce. It's bounced twice. He's got it now. Now got out to the quarter. A little bit of sting gone out of the defence. Mosley able to steal 5 metres from the play-the-ball area there. Doing it fairly steadily up the middle. Leibeta going a little bit sideways. That shouldn't be his go. He's had the ball stolen from him, I believe. Terry Lamb's come up with it. Dunn tries to pump himself up through the middle of the ruck there. Runs into a wall of defenders. Bugden. Langmack. Left a few behind him. There's Potter running from dummy half. Nobody on the trail on the inside. Bugden. Lamb. Folks, the dummy. Last tackle. Bit of a rarity for Canterbury to be up this end of the field, Graeme Hughes.
It certainly is, and now, of course, they're relying upon a kick, but that's just a straight giveaway for a restart of play. It was poor tactics from Canterbury. I'd certainly like to see them try and spread the ball a little bit more, but what they seem to be doing out wide is standing very, very flat. The back line is not really lining themselves out and getting set.
Okay, so it's going to be restarted from the quarter line with a tap. Mosley's the man to do that. Stolen about 5 metres there. Sterling, Wynn, Kenny. Must be a relief for Kenny to get back on the field. He's had the frustration of being out for about 3 or 4 weeks. Mosley, Sterling, Leibeta. Linda, right through the gap. He's up over halfway. Gets a pass away, which goes beautifully there. Oh, that pass is forward, and it was knocked on anyway. The referee was going to rule on that. Mark Laurie, or it was Tony Casato, I think. The pass was just a touch forward he threw. But there's Linda. That's a typical kangaroo run from Linda. He did some splendid things over there. Got lots of pace and style when he runs. Got his pass away successfully, but Casato couldn't quite handle it. There could have been a try at the end of that. Sterling looking for support. He'll be probing with them being a man short. He'll be doing a lot more running from the base of scrums. give you those statistics on scrums and penalties in just a second. Lee Beater ploughing his way forward. 4-0. Parramatta lead Canterbury. Repeating that Canterbury are playing a man short and have been since about the 11th minute of the game when Peter Kelly was sent off for a head-high tackle on Peter Webb. And there you are, the scrums and penalties. And there's another penalty to Parramatta. A little bit of desperation starting to come into the play. Penalties 3-2 in favour of Parramatta. Well, that'll be 4-2 after that one. And the scrums 6-4 in Parramatta's favour. At this juncture, I'd like to just mention that match yesterday, the big turn-up with Balmain and Eastern Suburbs, and the very fine display by Eastern Suburbs. And if Horry Hastings, the Eastern Suburbs hooker, didn't win all the Man of the Match awards, those that were judging don't know. He had a splendid game in all facets. Muggleton. Oh yeah, developing into very much a Muggleton afternoon with these goal kicking. 3 from 4, Parramatta 6, Canterbury 0. Spinning it wide. Oh, it's a hard pass there from Dunn. And Parramatta will come up with the ball only about 8 metres out from the Canterbury line. Errors compounded. Here might be that try that you were talking about. Looks close as though it could be. Only at 2 metres out. They spin it back to the right. They've got men over out there. Sterling's gone swivel the other way. Got it away to Linda. Linda's on the surge. Taken play to within 2 metres of the line. The ball down, that's the question. No, held up in goal. And it's Bugden. He's well into the in goal, but not able to get the ball down to the referee's satisfaction. There's the head-on shot, and you can see there's plenty of Canterbury players. All right, they're up and away. And Dunn runs into Lee Beater. Bugden works it and then goes back to the Tunks side. The ball is now on the ground. It's been picked up by Parramatta. They're in. There was a lashing out of the boot for it. A little bit of frenetic play going on. They're back to the quarter line. Sterling leading his troops with 4 minutes to go. And there are definite signs of, shall we say, disruption in the Canterbury side. The disruption, of course, comes from the player being off the field. But they're not playing like a side that are in some hope of winning this game, Graham. They're playing very, with a lack of discipline at the moment.
Well, they're playing as if they really do want this Parramatta side to walk away with 2 Winfield Cup points. But on the other hand, I think Parramatta are still struggling a little bit against the 12-team combination. I noticed in that last charge of 6 tackles, Jeff Bugden took 5 players into the in-goal area with him. Now, they're already 1 short, so that left only another 7 Canterbury players to fill holes in the defensive line. Peter Sterling's the man that's got to call the shots. Brett Kenny was madly waving his hands about. They had a 3- and 4-man overlap far out wide in the back line. That's where I like to see Parramatta start to play this game of football. Out wide and start stretching the Bulldogs.
Muggleton just inside the quarter. Distance will present no problem. He struck that well. It's another goal to Muggleton and another 2 points to Parramatta. So Parramatta now with about 3 minutes to go lead Canterbury Bankstown 8 points to 0. Sandy Campbell tends to start off running sideways when he comes in those situations. Langmack, Gillespie, ball turned back on the inside to Folkes. Excellent tackle there by Peter Wynn. Now it's away to Tunks. There's one of his backhanded passes, gets it away to Lamb. Lamb stands in a tackle, can't get a ball away. Bugden from dummy half. Canterbury with the most concerted attack now. Tunks has gone for the little grubber kick into the in-goal area. It's taken over the dead ball line by Chalmers. And I think the time is up. That's the end of the section for the first half. This Parramatta crowd are delirious with joy at the fact that their side are leading at half-time. They lead by 8 points to 0. 4 goals to Muggleton being the story of the game. No tries in the match, but that's a handsome lead, particularly as Canterbury have been playing a man short. Reiterating that Kelly was sent off about the 11th and 12th minute of the game for a charge that will read attacking the head of a player in possession of the football, that player being Peter Wynn. Okay, the sides are back on the field now. There are no changes at either team at this stage. I don't want to be repetitive, but it's significant for anyone that might have tuned in late that this is a 12-man Canterbury Bankstown side. They are a man short as of the opening passage of play, about the 12th or 13th minute, when Kelly was sent from the field, so they've done it pretty hard. Parramatta are leading by 8 points to 0. Their 4 penalty goals have come from Johnny Muggleton, who only yesterday declared himself fit to play. Canterbury in possession now, and the Parramatta players fallen on the ball in an offside position, and that's a correct ruling from Mick Stone. The ball ricocheted out of a Canterbury player's hands, was touched by another Parramatta player, and it went high in the air, as you can see from Gillespie. Hit a Parramatta player there, came down, and there was the last man to touch it, was a Parramatta player. Back with the action now as Atkins comes up. That was a failure to find touch. Back towards the halfway line. Delroy, I don't think I've called his name in the play in the opening half. Graeme Hughes, can you remember me calling Delroy's name?
No, I can't. I think, well, actually, I was trying to call for the ball to be moved a lot wider in that first half. I think Parramatta, Mooney surely would have said something. Here they are now setting themselves out wide. This is where the gaps are going to come, if any at all, in the Canterbury side.
There's been a bad collision between two Canterbury players. Dunn and Langmack ran into each other and didn't do each other any good there. That was the reason why Muggleton was able to spin through a tackle there and make another 10 yards after two of them had come in at him. Last tackle coming up, Parramatta about 30 metres out. Sterling's gone for a kick downfield. It's much too hard by the look of it. No, it's going to, well, it made a bit of a liar of me. I said it was much too hard, but it's had backspin on it. And it started to play ducks and drakes around the dead ball line and didn't want to go over the dead ball line. Mosley. Atkins. Atkins stays at dummy half. Mosley gave him permission. Sterling, little chip over the top. Taken well by Potter. Evades 1, 2. Gets run into. Gets the pass away. Does he? Yes, he does. Out to Langmack. Langmack out there to Hagan. Hagan's got it away to Farah. Farah's gone past Chambers. Now he gets him down. The pass back on the inside has gone to ground. Parramatta come up with the ball. Canterbury trying desperately to get a try on the board. Farah got round his man. It was a good run by him. That's the first time that he's really looked. It's the first time he's really looked as though he can handle Chambers for pace. Now this is the way it started. We're looking at it from the camera behind the action. Potter evaded 2 or 3. We've switched to the front on camera. He got the pass away well to Langmack. Shuffled it off to Hagan. Out there to Farah. Farah went up the sideline. Chalmers comes at him, palms him off. He's made about another 10 metres. Got a one-handed pass in field. It went between the legs of Hagan and was followed on by the Parramatta player, number 9 there, Johnny Muggleton. Got it between the quarter and the halfway line, out to Sterling. To Linda, the dummy. He's made a good break here. Gets a pass back on the inside. It goes to Atkins. Atkins to Mosley. Mosley to Wynn. Wynn looking for support. Gets stepping. The pass has gone astray. Been picked up by number 3 there, Mark Laurie. 6 to go. Was touched in flight. Canterbury on the rack. Out to Sterling. Kenny. Kenny the step. The beautiful step. Goal turns a pass away. Linda was screeching for it on the inside. And there was a try for all seasons there, but they've still come up with the ball. Delroy runs from dummy half and goes within about 5 metres. That was vintage Kenny there. Bit of beautiful footwork and acceleration. Out to Sterling. One-handed pass away to Leibeder. Leibeder on the charge. He's going to go close. He's only 2 metres away from the line. Canterbury well and truly on the rack. Sterling. The kick into the end goal. Well taken by Farah. And that, of course, is a defused bomb. So it'll be a restart back on the quarter line. Can we see that other bit of action again? There's the defusing of the bomb. I'm talking about the Kenny little break, half break, that was so much a look at Kenny back on the Kangaroo Tour. Here he is. Watch him go. Beautiful turn. Turns and gives the pass, and Linda would overrun it. Love to see that man Kenny operate. He's beautiful to watch. Right, Canterbury in possession. Gillespie comes away. looking for somebody to pass to, and the cupboard was bare. There wasn't a solitary Bulldog player within a Bull's roar. Tunks, one-hander. A little slip pass away. It's fallen on legitimately by Muggleton, who's come up with a knee problem out of that and will seek attention. Seems to be in some sort of pain of it here. Laurie's made a bust up the middle. Potter comes to him and brings him down with a top tackle. Canterbury again strung right out. Parramatta pump it up the blind side to Sterling. Sterling gets it away out there to Chalmers. Chalmers backslammed on the quarter line. And the last tackle coming up now. What are Sterling's tactics? Muggleton's up and about, walking slowly. Sterling, the kick into the in goal. Will it stop? Chalmers gets there in time. And now a little bit of an altercation starting with Chalmers and Potter. Potter, there's the kick through, the chase. Potter has to go down on it. Chalmers is coming fast and goes over the top of him. I don't know how Potter would expect him to stop. 8 points to 0. Still 28 minutes to go. Well, Graeme Hughes has got one of Australia's very finest footballers, former footballers, on the sideline at the moment, and I welcome Greg Bretnell to our telecast.
Greg, Canterbury struggling to get back into this game.
They are, Graeme, obviously losing Peter Kelly early, and I think Peter Sterling's been the difference. He's played tremendously well today. He seems to have got a lot more involved than I've seen him play this year.
Incredible number of mistakes on both sides.
Yeah, especially Canterbury, I think, and they're missing the organisation skills of Steve Mortimer, I think.
Everybody back home in Wagram enjoying this live overload.
Yes, we've had it for the last 3 weeks. It's only for a trial period, but I'm sure that everybody would be enjoying this game because obviously a lot of local content there as well.
All right, well, let's see if the Dogs can hang on.
Thank you.
OK, well, they've got a bit of hanging on to do. The kick ahead's been taken by Muggleton. Muggleton's on the chase. He's got there, I think. No, the referee's ruled against it. That'll look very interesting on the head-on replay. He's awarded a try. He's awarded a try. Watch it again. There's Dunn running shoulder to shoulder with him. And Muggleton, no, he didn't get his hand to that. He's gone for the penalty try. Well, let me see it again on the head-on. I can't believe, really, on the showing of that first head-on shot we gave you, that he would, without doubt, have gotten to the ball. They were running shoulder to shoulder, he and Dunn. Well, you know, I don't necessarily agree with that decision, but it's on the board. It's a penalty try being awarded. You are entitled to run shoulder to shoulder. There was no hanging on, and there's no question he didn't get a hand to the ball. I suggest Muggo run out. I said he'd score the next try, but I suggest he run out and buy a lottery ticket after that one. He's had a big day. He scored all their points. Four goals and a try. 4 goals from 5 attempts. And Muggleton directly in front. 12-0. Easy. 14-0. Parramatta lead Canterbury. Graeme Hughes, your view on that penalty try?
I've got absolutely no qualms with the decision by Michael Stone whatsoever. I can't understand how you would think that it was a lucky decision in Parramatta's favour. John Muggleton was running a straight line, heading straight for the football. Paul Dunn thought otherwise, and he pushed him off his line. You can run shoulder to shoulder, but you can't push him off his line. Oh, penalty try was awarded.
Hold on. You're talking about, you're inventing rules. I'm talking about the rule book. You can run shoulder to shoulder. It doesn't say anything about running in a straight line.
Well, the thing is that the man was pushed off the line that he was running.
He wasn't pushed off by the arm or shoulder.
Well, you're not going to get any further argument other than me that I agree with the referee and he was interfered with.
OK, well, I disagree with you totally. Won't be the first and won't be the last time. But don't invent the rules. The rules are fairly specific and their wording is fairly specific.
Well, I understand
Bugden's
the rules.
in possession now. Bugden's up the middle of the field. He's spinning like a three-quarter. The referee, I think, made an error in that decision, but we'll leave it at that. Bugden on the go, and he's made about, what has he made? About 45 yards on that occasion with a play the ball in the middle. Muggleton's gone for a drop at goal. I wouldn't be surprised if it hits a tree and goes over with the way he's going today. Well, it just missed away to the left. It was a splendid-looking kick too by the same token. Taken quickly and taken very well. Now I think we've got to change Graeme Hughes.
Terry Lamb's the man leaving the field. Jason Alshin out there in 20.
Jason Alshin. Yes, well, he was the player that they expected really to be in the side. We've got 23 minutes still to go in this match. Time for more points by either side. But it is, I'd say, just about a lost cause as far as Canterbury are concerned, with a man short. 14 points to 0. Long cutout pass. Gillespie not having a happy day with his handling or passing. Let's put that one down. It came to him well. And he clutched it air. Scrum about 5 metres into the Canterbury half. Sterling to feed. Another Parramatta win. Kenny. He's got around his man, got to pass away beautifully. Out to Laurie. Laurie to Casado. Casado looks a bit slow for pace today. Doesn't seem to get himself going all that quickly. Delroy's gone to dummy half. He runs from there. Makes a bit of an inroad. Gearing up now, Parramatta, for another onslaught. There's Sterling standing on the open side of the ruck, about to call for it. Wind takes play within about 8 metres now of the Canterbury line. Sterling, long cutout pass. It's gone to Kenny. Stands in the tackle. They lowered the boom on him. It was Folkes. Mosley. Muggleton. 10.5 metres out. Last tackle coming up. Mosley, Sterling, kick into the in goal. Farrar. He's going to get out of there and get into the field of play. It's a top line run by the big winger. He's come away with a very strong run. Mosley turns it back on the inside nicely to Langmack. He evades the tackle of Sterling. Goes upfield. He's put away there by Mark Laurie. 5 metres outside the quarter. Tunks runs onto that pass. Gets it nicely to Elchin. Elchin can't go round Chalmers, who's done him for pace. Gillespie, Potter, up over the halfway, looking for support, got a pass away to Elchin. Elchin will score the try. Peter Wynn can't foot it with a halfback, and he goes over after a good sprint to score a quite spectacular try from one end of the field virtually to the other. In a couple of play the balls, 14 points to 4, and worth a look on the State Bank replay. See it again. Gillespie was the man who turned the pass back inside to Potter, and this lightning-like young fullback turned it away well there to Elchin. Peter Wynn straight away well, trying desperately to get to him, but he's a fresh halfback, and there's no way a second row forward can put it in that situation. Here's the reverse pass again from Gillespie. He's held in a tackle, swivels and gives it back the other way. Potter was Johnny on the spot, evaded the tackle of Leibeder there. He was faced by Atkins. Atkins took him out of the play. The pass just a fraction in front. Elchin sights the line and decides he'll go on with it. And it's a very fine try to Canterbury Bankstown. So the game not over. Still 20 minutes to go. 14 points to 4. The kick and goal to follow. It's a fairly acute angle from there. He won't have a very broad sight of the goals. They diminish it the further you go out, of course. The gap between them. A big deep breath. Poise, the move in and the strike. Has struck it well. Just turned away slightly to the right, probably with the breeze coming across from left to right. So that score remains Parramatta 14, Canterbury 4. 12 minutes to go. Chalmers caught by one leg and let go. Couldn't get the pass away. He's got to within 13 metres of the goal line. Leibeder. Going strong, has evaded one tackle. Looked to get a pass away. Sterling was on the right. Sterling's got it now. Out it goes to Kenny. Kenny tried to go between Hagan and Langmack. No way. Still going the blind side. Sterling popped a pass nicely to Wynn. Wynn back slam. Gets a kick in, does Laurie. Fielded there by Campbell, just about a metre from his line, so the pressure off momentarily. Potter picked off by Sterling. Time running out for Canterbury. Gillespie's come up with a good bumping run and loses the ball at the end of it, as he's done so many times today. It's been not what you'd call a gilt-edged performance by Gillespie. He's had a number of errors. Here's Bugden running straight into them. The shoulder charge there rolled him over. Atkins, the fullback. Atkins a bit disorientated as he came up there. Sterling throws the dummy, goes. Got a pass away to Mosley. Mosley did. Oh, it was there going to be on. The try to Parramatta went begging there because there was an overrunning of a pass. But Delroy on the last tackle has got it. Sterling, little stabby kick. They go for it. It's a try to Sterling. That's what it is. Sterling's the man that kicked it. The ball played ducks and drakes in the end goal area. Went one way first and then the other way second. So Sterling's come up with a top line try. Potter I felt a bit sorry for there. He's made very few mistakes today. And he was put under enormous pressure there by a rugby ball that just wouldn't do what it was supposed to do. There's the kick by Sterling, back diagonally. Potter came across and the damn thing broke hard one way. You see, you can't trust a rugby ball. They'll do it to you every time. The little side stab kick, and he thought it was going to go straight and suddenly it went hard left and Potter overran it slightly. You can look at it any way you want to, but the damn ball beat Potter. And Sterling's come up with a try that he probably didn't expect to get. Muggleton. Oh, straight and true. How sweet it is. And Muggo really having one of those days. So there's the score. Parramatta 20, Canterbury Bankstown 4. And Muggleton comes up with all but 4 of the points of this Parramatta side today. Mosley finds a little gap close to the ruck and makes a light stepping run through it. Last tackle. Away to Muggleton. He's trying to put a bit of backspin on that. It won't help it. It was too hefty. Went over the dead ball line. Tap restart for the quarter. Great attendance here today, 19,171. I've got to say that Canterbury have battled manfully. They haven't at any stage tossed it in. And they've come up with a quite spectacular try to the replacement player, Jason Alchin. But the mistake rate has been pretty horrendous. Dunn, out to Farah. Farah back into Potter. Potter away to Farah. Farah's up the sideline. He's going to score the try. And they've come away with another one. It could be a 6-pointer. He was able to come around a little bit. And we've got a little bit of pushing and shoving going on back there at the halfway line. Muggleton was one of the players involved. We're watching the State Bank replay here. Well, it goes off camera there. We just continue on with the action downfield. Pass going back inside to Potter. Potter timing his pass well to Farah. Farah is quick enough to put it down that distance of 40 metres to score the try, which he does. Comes around and improves the angle ever so slightly. Playing back the big dummy. Dunn. Chris Mortimer. Then to Potter. Beautifully passed out to Farah. He is a quality player, this young fullback, no question about it. And just a little and too late for the Canterbury Bankstown side. 20 points to 8. Steve Sharp down there on the sideline, but I doubt if he'll have time to get on the field. We're just watching Farah now go through the motions of attempting to convert that try. 20 points to 8. Significantly, the tries have been 2 all. Farah gets that well into the air. It's away to the left on this occasion, so he allowed just a little bit too much for the cross breeze. We're well and truly in injury time. In fact, we're out of injury time. We've come to the end of the section, and Parramatta are getting a standing reception from their avid supporters here to let them know that they still love them. They still enjoy watching them play, despite the fact that they didn't have any premiership points on the board up until today. So that's it. It's been a 20 points to 8 victory. There have been 2 tries to Parramatta and 6 goals in their tally, coming from Muggleton's boot, 6 from I think 7 attempts. Peter Sterling a try and John Muggleton a try. For Andrew Farah has come up with a try for the Canterbury Bankstown side, as indeed has Jason Orchard.
Bobby, welcome to Parramatta Stadium. It's a nice way to start.
Yeah, thanks, Graeme. Mate, it's just so hot. Unbelievable. I'm not used to that at all.
How'd you feel with your new outfit?
Good, I settled in pretty well. A few things there, a few moments I was a bit lost, but settled down, did a bit of tackling, and I seemed to fit in okay.
The team certainly looked as though they had the drive to get back on the rails today.
Yeah, they'll be there. Don't worry about that. It's a good side.
Last season was a good one. The game's on the up and up. This year, it'll be even better. The battle for the Winfield Cup.
True, we've lost some giants. They were a credit to the game. But we've also found some young'uns. They promise to be the same. That's what the big game's all about. It happens every year. We lose a few of our heroes, but find others who know no fear. We see them give it all they know. We see them give it their best shot. 'Cause whether unknown or famous, you gotta give it all you got. That season was a good one. We saw a big man walking tall. But who will it be this year to collect the greatest prize of all?
An interesting round of Winfield Cup football, and once more, as has been the case right throughout the season so far, plenty of other upsets. Let's now go to all the action from all the other games.
The action began at Leichhardt Oval, where East were out to prove they were worthy to be sitting on top of the Winfield Cup table with co-leaders Balmain. Skipper McGahn gave the Roosters a handy lead, but it was to be short-lived.
Finds Pearce, and Pearce is in. They had to score eventually. It's 4-all.
Balmain made many errors, allowing East to dominate play in the first 40 minutes, and when Spina and Melrose combined to send the hard-working Gilmeister over, it gave them a lead of 10-6 at half-time.
And Gilmeister's in.
Some woeful defence early in the second half by Balmain allowed Spina to stroll over and increase the Roosters' lead.
Spina on his own. Spina will go close. Spina's in. Try, Spina.
East were on fire and kept applying the pressure.
Well, it goes to Prone. They should score. Prone's in. No double movement, says the referee.
Portlock's field goal kicked them out of reach.
Field goal. That one's there. One more point for the Roosters.
And Tony Melrose sealed the Tigers' fate with time running out.
Dummy half through Hardy. He's got the pass back to Melrose. Melrose will score. Melrose is in. That's the ball game. The Roosters are undefeated at the top of the Winfield Cup.
While the Roosters were crowing, the Sharks, fresh from their midweek win over Canberra, started brightly in their Penrith Park clash with the Panthers, with Glenn Coleman's length of the field try giving Cronulla an early 6-0 lead. However, the Panthers struck back when Roy Simmons came off an Alexander pass to make it 6-4 to the Sharks. Then Lydiard put the Panthers in the lead for the first time in the match in the 35th minute with a 70-metre solo effort. They hung on to that 8-6 lead at half-time. There was only one try in the second half. It was scored by Cronulla's Greg Davies, but it was enough for 2 valuable competition points in a 10-8 victory over the Mountain Men. At North Sydney Oval, the veteran Don McKinnon was setting a club record with his 261st appearance with the Bears, but could only look on as Perry Haddock gave the Steelers a 6-0 lead. But the Bears came back with a good reply. Second rower Ian French made the initial break. Mark Cannon loomed in support. Andrew Simons finished off the move, and the Bears led 10-8 at the break. North raced in 3 tries to 1 in the second half, but none brought more delight to Bear Park than when McKinnon celebrated his record with the club with a try in the 28th minute as North chalked up a 28-14 win. At the Sydney Cricket Ground, St George's worries continued in the first half when Canberra Raiders hooker Steve Walters barged over, and it was 8-0 to the boys from the National Capital. When new recruit Peter Jackson made space on the left flank and put Matthew Corkery into the clear, the Dragons were reeling at 14-0. The Saints did have one stroke of luck before the break when the bounce favoured Chris Johns. He found Michael Beattie in support, and at half-time the Dragons trailed 14-6. Another try in the second half by Beattie gave the Dragons some hope. It brought them back into the match to trail by just 2 points, 16-14. But that's as close as they went. A Terry Fay trial sealed the match for the Raiders, and they head back to Canberra with the spoils of victory, 22-14. Out west at Arana Park, West favourite son Tom Radonicus was on hand at the Magpies' new ground and was given the honour of kicking off. The Rabbitohs struck the first blow with a try by Craig Coleman and appeared in total control in the early stages. But you can't deny the Magpie spirit. They bounced back with Allenson crossing wide out and they trailed by just the 2 points. Big Les White proved the first half Magpie hero with a stirring solo effort, and at half-time West enjoyed a 2-point lead, 8-6. An Ian Naden field goal edged West ahead to lead by 9 points to 8 in a gripping battle. However, just 8 minutes from time, replacement Paul Roberts scored the match winner and Souths grabbed a hard-earned 14-11 win.
Plenty of great rugby league there, and of course plenty more in store for you next weekend. But now let's just check those results from last weekend. Eastern Suburbs kicked off with a great victory, 21 over Balmain. Canberra getting up over the St George team, which is starting to struggle. North Sydney continuing on there with their good form. Souths starting to put a bit more consistency into their play. Cronulla backing up strongly after the National Panasonic Cup. And Parramatta at last getting back on the rails, 20-8 over the Bulldogs. The table, well, Eastern Suburbs have finally cleared their way out on top. Who could have picked that only 3 or 4 weeks ago? And as you look down the board there, St George struggling on 3 points with Western Suburbs and Penrith, and Parramatta starting to climb back into it on 4 points. Now, next weekend's matches, Illawarra versus St George, Canberra and Balmain, East and Penrith, Cronulla and West, South and Parramatta, and a big clash coming up for the Bulldogs, Canterbury Bankstown versus Manly Warringah and North Sydney the Bye. It certainly should be another great weekend of Winfield Cup football, and once more we look forward to your company same time next week. Until then, I'm Graeme Hughes. Goodbye for now.